This is how a lonely trader sitting in a dark bedroom turned failure into fortune. No hedge fund. No mentors. Just glowing screens, endless nights, and a battle against his own mind. His story begins in silence, with fear whispering louder than any chart. Red price bars cut across the screen like knives. Profits vanished in seconds, discipline crumbled. His hand shook, torn between hope and despair. Every click was heavy, every loss felt personal. The market mocked him, daring him to continue, daring him to quit. Sleep abandoned him. Nights became endless, charts burned behind closed eyes. Early mornings brought no peace, only echoes of mistakes. Yet in the exhaustion, a stubborn flame refused to die. Something whispered that hidden inside failure was the key to mastery. Friends shook their head, calling him obsessed. Family watched with worry, unable to pull him away. They saw sleepless nights, frustration, silence at the table. But what they missed was the fire inside him, a hunger too strong to kill, a drive sharpened by every defeat. Then, one morning, something shifted. Fear was still there, but it no longer ruled. Losses still hurt, but they began to teach. He realized the market was not the enemy, his mind was. Control replaced chaos, and with calm, he finally saw what he had been missing. He turned his study inward, analyzing not charts, but himself. Fear, greed, hesitation, they were the true opponents. Each loss revealed a hidden pattern, not on the screen, but inside his own reactions. Slowly, painfully, he began to see the market was a mirror of his mind. Discipline became his weapon. Each morning began with silence, breathing, stillness before the storm. Meditation replaced panic. Clarity replaced noise. Where once he clicked impulsively, now he waited, patient as a hunter. Hours passed, and still he watched, waiting for the right moment. One day, the breakthrough arrived. It wasn't fireworks, it wasn't sudden victory. It was quiet, steady, unshakable calm. He placed a trade not from fear, not from greed, but from clarity. Win or lose, he finally felt free, because for the first time he controlled himself. Mastery, he realized, was not about predicting every move. It was about control, about patience, about trust and discipline. The market was chaos, but inside that chaos, he found order. His heartbeat slowed, his mind sharpened, and each choice carried the weight of wisdom. Losses didn't vanish, they still came. But now each one was a teacher. Every red price bar carried a lesson, every setback sharpened his skill. He wrote them down, studied them, turned pain into fuel. Slowly, losses became stepping stones guiding him higher. Victories came too, but quietly, without celebration. There were no shouts, no champagne, only calm acknowledgement. Wins were not fortune, they were proof of discipline, confirmation that fear no longer controlled him. And in that silence, he tasted a deeper kind of success. His friends noticed the change. No longer restless, no longer consumed by desperation. His family saw it too, the calm in his eyes, the weight lifted from his shoulders. They did not understand the charts, but they saw the transformation, and at last, they believed in him. Word began to spread. Other traders, broken by fear, came to him for answers. They sought secrets, shortcuts, strategies. But he gave them something more powerful. He gave them truth. The enemy is not the market. The enemy lies in your mind, and mastery begins there. He shared his journey through workshops, through videos, through quiet conversations with those who struggled. Stories of failure became lessons of strength. Stories of fear became maps to discipline. In his voice, people found courage. In his example, they found hope. Fear never left him, but it changed. It became a signal, not a threat. It reminded him to focus, to slow down, to sharpen his mind. What once was an enemy became an ally, and in that transformation, he discovered true freedom. The market continued to test him, storms of red, bursts of green, endless temptation. But he did not flinch. He did not chase. He waited, calm and steady. Slowly, the small wins stacked, account growing quietly. For the first time, it was not the market in control. It was him. He learned the truth of the losses never destroy you, only complacency does. The moment you stop learning, the moment you stop adapting, the market takes everything. But as long as you face fear, as long as you sharpen discipline, you rise stronger. His fortune began not with a win, but with resilience. Every heartbeat became a measure. Every decision carried weight. He no longer clicked in panic, he acted with precision. His traits were not random guesses, they were reflections of a sharpened mind, each move deliberate, each outcome accepted. And with every steady choice, his balance climbed higher. People watched him now, curious, skeptical, inspired. Some doubted his calm, some envied his focus, but many followed, hoping his story could become their own. They whispered about the quiet trader in a bedroom, whose account grew into millions while the world slept. He taught patience, the art of waiting when every part of you screams to act. He taught discipline, the power to stay steady when storms rage. He taught focus, the skill of cutting through noise. Slowly, his students changed, building wealth not from luck, but from mastery. Mistakes no longer crushed him, they fueled him. Losses no longer broke him, they instructed him. Fear no longer trapped him, it guided him. The same storms that once destroyed him now built him stronger. And with every step, his fortune grew silently, beyond what he once dreamed. Every dawn became a battlefield. The city awoke, markets open, screens lit with chaos. But he entered prepared, mind sharp, discipline unshakable. Each trade became a duel not against the market, but against weakness. And from these duels his fortune was forged. At times the storm returned. Emotions surged. Old fear whispered. But he whispered back, "You do not control me. Not anymore. My mind is my fortress, and no market storm can tear it down." And in that fortress his wealth grew, break by break, trade by trade. The markets roared, red waves burned, yet his calm cut sharper than steel. His strategy was no longer about chasing money, but about mastering moments. Wealth followed naturally. He realized true riches were not measured in numbers, but in clarity, control, and freedom. Followers asked for his secret. They expected formulas, indicators, hidden codes. But he smiled. The secret, he said, was within. Face your fear. Accept your losses. Build discipline. The rest will follow. That is how a lonely trader in a bedroom made millions. He remembered the nights of fear, the countless failures, the broken silence in his dark room. Those scars never left, but they became reminders. Proof that even the deepest pain can transform into strength, and even the loneliest dream can build an empire. His fortune grew beyond numbers, beyond charts. Houses, cars, luxuries, they arrived quietly. But none of it compared to the power of freedom. Freedom from fear, freedom from control, freedom to live without chains. That, he realized, was the true prize of trading. He no longer chased wealth, he attracted it. Each day was disciplined, each trade intentional. People asked how he stayed so calm while others panicked. His answer was simple: control the mind, and you control everything. The chart is nothing without the mind behind it. Some envied him, some admired him, but most wanted to learn. They saw not just the money, but the transformation. They saw how one man, broken and lost, rebuilt himself stronger than the storms of the market. And in him, they saw the reflection of their own struggles. He reminded them wealth is not the goal, mastery is. Money is a shadow, following discipline. Chase the shadow, and you lose it. Chase discipline, and the shadow never leaves. This truth carried him higher than numbers could ever measure. As his influence spread, more traders found strength. Stories of failure turned into stories of hope. His lessons traveled across screens, across voices, across nations. The lonely bedroom became a beacon, and from its silence, thousands found their path. He never forgot where he started. The failures, the pain, the endless nights. He carried them as a badge, as proof that greatness is forged, not given. And whenever he doubted, he looked back, remembering the boy in the dark room who refused to quit. Legacy, he realized, was not measured in wealth or fame. It was measured in impact. In every trader who found courage, in every dream rebuilt from ashes, in every soul freed from fear. That was the true fortune he built, greater than any account balance. And so, his message echoes still: the market is not your enemy. The battle is within. Master yourself and wealth follows. Veil yourself and no system can save you. This truth is simple, but it changes everything. This is the story of the lonely trader who turned silence into strength, fear into fortune. Remember his lesson, remember his path.